Welcome to Origins, where we go more in depth into the actual origins of your favorite heroes and villains. By popular demand, we're going to push back the Green Lantern stories to give you more origins. You guys really want to know how Guy got his red ring and how Kyle got the white ring. So let's start with Guy and get moving. Guy's story begins at his sister's graduation. She had just graduated from the police academy and she was following in the family's footsteps, another Gardner on the force. Her brother and her father were there, and her other brother, Guy, was sitting far away from the family. He didn't want to join the happy times because his father was there. You see, Guy and his father were at odds because Guy got himself kicked off of the force. He tried to come over eventually, hoping for the best, but his father just shunned Guy, once again stating that he had no intentions of making up with him. But his brother and his sister were still hopeful, so once his father left, Guy's brother handed him some tickets and said, "Bring Dad to the game tonight. You two need to make peace, and you need to put your best foot forward." Well, Guy didn't think it would work, but he decided to go ahead and make an effort. So that night he went to his father's house and he invited him to the game. But his dad held a lot of anger towards Guy, and they went right into it with his father stating, "Every Gardner in the police force has been honored. They've held medals. It's in the family to be a police officer and you just couldn't listen. You had to get yourself kicked off the force." But Guy got defensive right away, stating that the reports were falsified, and how could his dad follow those reports and not listen to his own son? Sadly, his father had been drinking and he just slumped over into a chair, stating he was a good cop and he would follow the reports. And as his father passed out, Guy heard the police radio say, "2 officers down," and then he heard it, his brother's name. Well, it was only a few blocks away, and a Gardner doesn't leave his family behind. So Guy hops on his motorcycle and he rides straight there, just as his brother is about to be shot in the face, and he jumps over the police car, landing on the criminals. Guy moves quickly, getting his brother into the cop car, and they speed out of there as quickly as they can. Both officers are bleeding out, and he just needs to get them to the hospital. If only he could go faster! And that's when it happens. A green power ring comes over, and it says, "Guy Gardner, you have the ability to overcome great fear. Welcome to the Green Lantern Corps." And it slaps itself on his finger, and he just says, "No way!" The ring tells him he can do anything that he can imagine. So he imagines himself getting his brother to the hospital, and the ring makes it happen instantly. The next morning, his brother wakes up and he sees Guy floating over him, and he asks, "So you're a Green Lantern now?" And Guy just looks at the ring and he says, "I don't know, but I'm definitely going to be better at this than the chump in the Justice League." And that's how Guy earned his green ring. Now you're probably wondering how he eventually got the red ring. Keep in mind, he has the green one in the stories that we're about to cover. His red ring comes much later in the stories, and that's why initially we weren't going to cover this for a bit. So eventually, Hal Jordan comes to lead the Green Lantern Corps. This is shortly after all of the battles and all of the wars have ended. Hal intercepted a transmission from Atrocitus stating that he was going to build up his Red Lantern Corps for something. So Hal decides he needs an undercover agent. Well, Guy Gardner has held the red ring before, and with the Blue Lantern's help, they can remove the red ring. So Hal thinks that Guy would make a great undercover agent, and he asks him to go back in as a Red Lantern and fill him in on everything that's going on. He figures with the Red's numbers so low, Atrocitus won't turn Guy away even if he was a Green Lantern. So Guy agrees and he heads to Yalsmolt, where he finds the Reds right away. And he says, "The Greens are dead to me," and he asks Atrocitus for a red ring. Well, Atrocitus says, "Do you think of me as a fool?" And he buries Guy into a wall. But Guy is the one Green Lantern who is so full of rage that even Atrocitus can't stop him. And he uses every ounce of his green ring's charge to completely obliterate Atrocitus. He then leans over and he takes Atrocitus' own ring off of his own hands, and he puts it on. Dexter takes Atrocitus and the two of them leave Yasmolt as Guy declares, "I am done being a good guy." And that's how he came to lead the Red Lanterns. That story arc begins in issue 21 of the Red Lanterns, and honestly, it's absolutely amazing. He leads them into a Red Lantern civil war and eventually has to defend all of Earth. You guys definitely should check it out. Or if you wait, in about 6 months, we'll probably get to that storyline. And that's how Guy became a green and then a red. If you learned something new, hit this video with a like. And if you want to show the world that you're a Comicstorian, why don't you check out our merch store where you can represent. Lastly, check out our gaming channel, where we bring you gaming variety videos, and we'll see you guys next time right here at Comicstorian.